Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, we are able to see.
Perfect. So then let's start. Okay. So first, let me introduce about myself, okay, who I am, what exactly I do, and then I will also, explain you what all things we'll be discussing in this particular session and what is the agenda of this particular session. Okay. First thing is, this is Abhishek. Okay. So I am basically an AI developer. Okay. So I have started my career in 2017 as an Android developer initially. Okay. And further, when I was working as an Android developer, I was actually developing applications. Actually, we were developing Android applications for AI team itself in the first company, in my first company. We were actually deploying the AI apps, sorry, AI models, TF-like models, TensorFlow models in the Android applications, and also I was developing AI related APIs for them. Okay, that was my work. So from there itself, I got introduced to AI, and I started working on AI, started understanding about AI, and in the same company, I shifted to AI team and continue working on that. And further, after continuously working on the AI field and working on multiple projects, further I have shifted multiple, transition into multiple phases and multiple companies. And yeah, so now currently, I'm working as an AI engineer. I can say senior AI engineer. So basically, I am having, I can say I'm clearly having around 7+ years of experience in the concept of AI and all those things. Now, the thing is, once there was a shift in the AI field, like before I can say before 2022, okay, before 2022, I personally I was completely involved in the deep learning part because I was completely in the deep learning models, building deep learning models, optimizing them, working on object detection models, working on machine learning models in some cases, some few cases. So mostly on deep learning, and few cases I was working on machine learning, and sometimes few statistics. But now, once the concept of Gen AI came, and now Agentic AI is the buzzword. So once the Agentic AI, Gen AI, this ChatGPT came, the entire AI developers, entire AI engineers, and we have to shift into the AI, the Gen AI phase. Okay, where after 2022, after the rise of ChatGPT, we started exploring about Gen AI and generative AI, and whatever existing solutions we are having right now with AI, right, in our company, we slowly transformed into generative AI based solutions, Gen AI based solutions, and of course that gave us a lot of performance improvements, and also less time consuming, right? Obviously, it is more faster, and faster development. In terms of development, it is very fast. Okay, of course, compute intensive, but of course it's faster. So that is my point. Currently, I'm working on the same thing. So whatever we have existing systems we're having, we are trying to integrate AI into it. That is the main goal. Okay, so we basically started working on working on a lot of things. Now currently, I'm working on agent which can which will act like a log monitoring, and log monitoring, and suggesting and optimizing the code with help of the logs and all those things. A lot of things I'm working on. Let's not just a simple AI, one single project. It's like a group of multiple agents combining into one. So that's my introduction, like what exactly I do and what exactly I'm working on. Now coming to our session. So coming to our session, what we'll be discussing in this particular session. So this particular session, if you know, guys, this is a demo session, right? I guess you know this point, that this is a demo session for the course, the upcoming course, which we are launching, okay, soon. So that is the Agentic AI course, okay, which is mainly focused on Agentic AI based solutions, and Agentic AI based concepts. So the idea is, this session will be like, a introduction session for you, okay, a demo session which will be helping you to understand what is agentic AI, what is Gen AI, and how currently in the market agentic AI is ruling, the world. The this agentic AI is, is actually becoming day to day use case of every company, right? So how it is working. So I'll just explain about that, and if you are interested, you can just go through the curriculum. I'll be showing the curriculum also, what will be the curriculum for this particular course, the upcoming course. Okay. So I'll be showing the curriculum at the last once we discuss everything. So if you have any questions related to curriculum or something like that, we can discuss. And that's the idea. We should, we'll be working on the same. That's the idea. So today will be like a demo. And now coming to the part, what we'll be discussing today. Today the main agenda is to discuss what is AI, what is generative AI, agentic AI, what is agentic AI versus generative AI, application of agentic AI. And the one more important thing is today I have also planned one demo for you, like a demo project. It's not a simple demo, I mean simple project, but for you to show what exactly is the project about. I've created that. Basically, that is a kind of a, we can, the scope of the project is very high. There is a lot of things we can have in that particular project. But yeah, today we'll be discussing what, I'll just show the demo of what the project does using agentic, what agentic AI, what exactly agentic AI does and everything. And also, so just a second. Yeah, this is the project which I was talking about. So I'll just explain you what exactly this project does. This is entirely a data analysis using the agentic AI concept. So we'll discuss about that, what exactly happens in the backend. However, these kind of projects we'll be doing in this particular session. This is one example, this a demo example of what kind of projects we'll be doing in this particular entire curriculum. Okay. So yeah, okay. Present. Okay. So let me do one thing then. I'll just present the curriculum first before starting the concept. Okay. I'll first present the curriculum such that, if, however, we'll discuss about the curriculum doubts and everything at the last, but I'll just present the curriculum such that you'll get an idea like uh, what it's going to be look like, what we have in the curriculum. Okay. Yes. So if you see the screen on the screen, this is the curriculum, guys. I mean, this is the course which we are planning to launch. Now, let me explain the curriculum first. What all things we'll be having in this particular, course, such that you'll get an idea, and then we can proceed discussing further on agentic AI. So, so in the curriculum, first, I mean, in our course, first we'll start with understanding what is generative AI, right? It's like a simple introduction to generative AI, because without understanding what is Gen AI and what is, how to use LLM models, obviously you'll not be able to implement agentic AI systems. Okay, generative AI is a base of agentic AI, correct? Sorry, yeah, it's a base of agentic AI. So first we'll be discussing about what is generative AI. Okay. Like in this concept, we'll understand how generative AI is different from our traditional AI, which we were doing it before, 2022, something like that, in the deep learning or machine learning case. And then we'll explore about the concept of LLMs, which is the most important concepts of generative AI. And here we'll explore about both open source and also the closed source LLMs. Coming to the open source closed source LLMs, like we have the famous LLMs like OpenAI GPT-4, GPT 4.1, now 4.5 came into the picture. Then we have Claude, Gemini, Anthropic models, Claude Anthropic models. So we'll understand how to use this API, how to generate the API keys, how to integrate these APIs into the, because this closed source models cannot be directly, loaded into your code or sorry, loaded into your system, right? It cannot be locally done. So you have to use API. So how to use the APIs, how do you integrate it, all these things we'll discuss. And then we'll also discuss, once we are good with the closed source models, we'll be also discussing about the open source models, open source LLMs, like example, the Hugging Face transformer models. So basically, in order to work with open source, there are a lot of frameworks. One is Hugging Face, and second one is Olama, and third one is VLLM. Okay. So there are a lot of other frameworks also, but these are the major frameworks. One is VLLM. Okay, you can see the VLLM, the Olama, and the Hugging Face. Okay, Hugging Face library. So there are a lot of open source models available in the market right now, like Llama, Mistral, Falcon, Gemma, which is by Gemini itself. Gemma open source models, Pi 3, Pi 4, lot of open source models. So we'll be working on that models. So what we'll do is locally we will download the LLM models. Of course, for actually loading LLM models into local, you need a good GPU or a good compute power. Okay, maybe your systems right now might not have. Even my system currently, which I'm using, might is not capable of handling the LLM models. But don't worry, uh, we'll be using Google Colab for this. We'll be loading the models in the Google Colab, and we'll be hosting the models in the Google Colab. Also, I will show you how to take a rent of a GPU, but if only if you can afford it, or else it is optional. But I'll just show you once, like, because it might be helpful in your future when you're doing your custom projects or projects, or when you're working for a company. Also, you can just explain them that, okay, because if you have the idea, if you have the knowledge of how to rent a GPU, you can explain to your company stakeholders, your management, because agentic this AI is new to everyone. A lot of companies just started shifting into AI systems. Okay, so when you join a company, maybe you might be a first AI developer there, AI engineer there, right? So you should also be explaining them how to use GPUs. Maybe how can you rent GPUs? Okay, so I'll be showing you, like, how can you rent GPUs. There is one website called as Vast AI. Because when you want to run, see, when you're using a closed source models, no problem, because you'll directly use the APIs and you have to just pay for using the API. That's it. But when you're using open source models, you need a good compute power. Okay. So there is one website called as, one provider called as Vast AI. Okay. This is this is one which I found which is less cost. Okay. Because I have done, because for my use cases, for my company, I have done research on various platforms which provides GPUs for rent. As of now, with whatever research I've done till now, Vast AI is somewhat less cost for GPUs, for renting for GPUs. But however, you can also research once, because these prices will go on changing. So maybe in next few days, some other provider might be providing for lesser cost. So we should just go on researching. This is always about researching. But I'll just show you, in later of this course, like how you can just rent this. For example, this is a simple RTX 309 GPU, which is, you might get it for very. This is actually whatever seeing on the screen is not this cost. If you actually log in and see, it will be around more lesser cost. It will be like 0.07 or $0.08 per hour, something like that. Okay, so just to experiment, you can use this. Of course, as an individual, you might not be able to afford this for a longer duration. But for experimenting, yes, you can just go with this. So that we'll discuss how to work with open source LLMs, and how to work with GPUs and stuff, and how to work with LLMs, obviously. Next, we will be working on the frameworks which we can use for LLMs. Okay. Now we are using LLMs, fine, but we should have some framework. See, Olama, this VLM or Olama Hugging Face is for deploying the LLMs. Okay, hosting the LLM models. If you want to host it somewhere such that you can use it, we can use this. But if you want to use the LLMs in an effective manner, in a more precise manner, there are frameworks. Like, how do we have pandas? We have pandas, NumPy. If you have already worked with data analysis stuff, if you have worked with machine learning stuff, how do we have scikit-learn? How, if you have worked with deep learning stuff, how do you have TensorFlow as a framework in order to communicate with LLMs? In the same way, we have some frameworks like, sorry, to communicate, to work with the analysis and the machine learning models or deep learning models. In the same way, to communicate with LLMs and to work to do stuff with LLMs, there are some frameworks. Like, for example, the very famous framework is LangChain. Okay, so we'll be exploring about how to work with LangChains, how to work with chains, agents. Here also there is specific called as agents. We'll talk about that, and memory, and how to work with a concept called as a RAG. And there is also one more framework called as Llama Index. So we'll talk about indexing concept and RAG. That is the idea in this. This also comes under GenAI. Still, we have not yet started about agentic AI. This is till now we are only talking about GenAI curriculum. Then once we are done with this, we'll talk about the very important thing, that is prompt engineering and function calling, like how to do prompt engineering, how to do chain of thought prompting, zero shot, few shot, few form prompting techniques. and also tool calling. Tool calling is very important for agentic AI. So how do we do tool calling? What is tools? How exactly uh, LLMs work with tool calling? Okay, we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about RAG, obviously, in a more deeper manner. So here I'll just introduce about RAG, but here we'll talk about a deeper concept of RAG, like what is RAG, because RAG is a very very important thing, because most of the GenAI solutions you will see about around RAG itself. Okay, so yeah, so we'll talk about RAG plus agent. How do we work with, and the concept of, in the RAG itself, we'll be discussing the concept of word embeddings, vector stores, different types of vector stores. We'll be building an entire end-to-end RAG system. So up to your guys, up to fifth module, it's like a base of agentic AI. Okay, whatever you learned till now, up to fifth module, like the RAG, it might be LLMs, it might be, or it might be a prompt engineering, it might be the frameworks. These are like a base for agentic AI. Okay, to build an agentic AI system, because agentic AI now, see, these all things you have learned separately, like how to work with tool calling, how to work with memory, how to work with how to work with the LangChain, how to work with LLMs. So all these things you have discussed separately. What is agentic AI is? I'll discuss more clearly what is agentic AI soon. But in agentic AI, you'll just combine them. In agentic AI, you will just you know integrate everything, okay, and use it. So that is what I'll discuss more deeply what exactly it is. But yeah, so we'll be discussing about what is agentic AI, what is agentic AI versus traditional generative AI LLMs. We'll discuss about few architectures like React. React stands for reasoning and action. React, it is called as React, reasoning and action, plan and execute. These are the few agentic frameworks which on top of which the agentic AI works. We'll also discuss about how to build a single agent and multiple agent. So like that, we'll be discussing about introduction, and then like how do we have frameworks for LLMs and other concepts. For agentic AI also we have few frameworks. Like, so again, trust me guys, now first important thing I want to make it clear is, currently every AI solution is transformed into some of the agentic AI, because it is having a lot of power. You will see slowly. In today's demo session itself, you will see, in today's demo project, you will see what is the power of an agentic AI system. Okay. So, but you have to wait up to the few theoretical concept to see the demo. But yeah, you will see the power of what is the agentic AI system, right? So in this, when you want to develop an agentic AI system, there are two types of frameworks I can see. One is the iCode framework. iCode framework. So when I say iCode framework, what do I mean by this is, which is the framework where you can write the code, okay, where you can write, there will be a lot of code involved in that. You should write your code and build things. But one interesting point here, there are also agentic AI frameworks where you can do without writing the code, or with writing a very very minimal code. We can say low code or no code. Trust me guys, now this is also trending, low code and no code. You might think, okay, now if you are not writing the code, then what is the purpose of learning coding, or what is the purpose of learning CSE, if you are from CSE background by any chance, from longer duration. Yeah, I understand your pain point. I understand your pain, but yeah, that's how this things are shifting right now, guys. Even think people are doing things without code right now. So you should be careful in that. So you should be proactive and start adapting to the situation and start learning things. But I'm telling you, if there is a no code tool, or if there is a no code framework, still iCode is used in some cases, because no code will work, but there are some cases where it might not, be flexible for you. Okay, because if you want to like if you want to integrate some custom tools, or if you want to integrate some kind of custom systems, maybe low code might not work that great. Right now they are also having these options to integrate custom tools, but still, iCode is also having value. It's not like, okay, if we are having no code, iCode is not having value. So we'll be learning both. The thing is, we'll be learning both. For example, in iCode frameworks, in the agentic AI, we have the very famous LangGraph. LangGraph is trending a lot. A lot of people are using it. Creo AI also a lot of people are using it. A lot of companies are using it. AutoGen by Microsoft, again, it's a very interesting framework. One more thing, guys. As of now, these are the famous framework. But this Agentic AI and Generative AI are rapidly changing, guys. They are for every 2 days and 3 days they are getting new framework, and a lot of people will start using it if they like it. You know, so whatever up to now, whatever we are having is this. But in future, means the moment we come to this particular module, if there is any new framework which is trending in the market, maybe I'll also discuss that. So it is not fixed that okay, we'll only discuss LangGraph or we'll only discuss AI or we'll only discuss AutoChat. No, if there is any interesting framework which I found that okay, people are using it and people are recommending it, then maybe I'll add that here. Okay, so no need to worry about that. Even same way, no code. No code, guys. In no code, also a lot of people are, a lot of companies are also shifting to no code. The reason behind no code is it's very faster, right? So within 1 day, 2 days, you can build a lot of advanced applications also with low code, right? So in that, there is one framework called as N8N, which is very famous right now. So N8N, Langflow, Flowwise, these are the few frameworks which is top in terms of no code and low code platforms for building agentic AI. So we'll be working on that. And we'll be doing some hands-on. We'll be doing some projects like email automation or lot of projects we'll be working on. So this is related to the frameworks. So once we are good with frameworks, we'll talk about how to use these frameworks for advanced things. Like for example, if you want to integrate databases to this framework to save the memory, like agentic memory, that will be discussed. And also we'll discuss about multiple database, like we can integrate Postgres database also, we can integrate Redis database also, we can integrate in memory database also, in memory, like without any database. So we'll discuss about that. REST APIs, how to integrate APIs. If you're having any API, how to integrate in terms of tool. So we'll talk about tools, and then we'll try to do some use cases on that, like automating a business workflow, or we can scrap the data from online and do some kind of response generation. All these kinds of important things which is needed for agentic AI will discuss. And then also, guys, this is up to some level. Now by this time, by module 8, you will be now having some idea on how to work with agentic AI, how to build an agentic AI system, also how to build some advanced tools, how to use custom tools, how to write a custom tool, and how to use a predefined tools. Okay, we'll learn all those things. Now after that, it's also important to evaluate and govern your AI agents. So evaluate, obviously, you have to know how is your agentic AI performing, your model performing, right? So we'll talk about that, how to evaluate, what are the evaluation metrics, what are the various evaluation, how do we do this? We'll also talk about a concept called as guardrails. So because now, see, even though AI is doing a lot of interesting, crazy stuff, still it is difficult to believe AI. Okay, there are a lot of cases which I personally have, and a lot of cases which people personally face, where we cannot completely depend upon the AI. There should be some kind of guardrails kind of thing. Okay, or that is one thing. For I'm talking about output. For input also, for example, sometimes what happens is whenever you're sending, this is very important, guys. Try to listen this point. Imagine you're sending some information to AI or LLM models or ChatGPT. Uh, Handling the input and securing the input is important. For example, imagine in the input you're having some IP address, or you're having personal email, or you're having password by any chance in the input. For example, in ChatGPT, unknowingly you send the password to ChatGPT, or to ChatGPT unknowingly you send the email to ChatGPT, of send unknowingly you send a IP address. That is not recommended, guys, because that once the data is out, it can be public. Even though the OpenAI people or any other companies like Claude or Gemini or whatever, they might say that okay, we'll just will not expose your data publicly, but it is used for training, right? So it's not good for it is not recommended to send the secure data to GPT. So you can have guardrails. Guardrails can also be used for that. Guardrails is like before sending to LLM, you can have a filtering mechanism which filters your PII. This is most common name used, PII, personal identification information. So you can secure your PII and you can just, avoid that. How to avoid the rate limiting logging concepts. All these things we'll discuss about evaluation and governance process, because it's also very important. Because if you want to work in a company, if you want to work for a company, you should have this knowledge such that whenever you are working with companies confidential data, you will implement these kind of things such that you will secure and you will not send unwanted data to LLMs, because that is also very important thing. Okay, so here itself we'll talk about how to work with secure prompts also. Like there in agentic AI also, there is some kind of attacks by attackers, like prompt injection attacks. There is some kind of prompt injection attacks, or there is something kind of something like code injection attacks. All these kinds of hackers can do for your LLM systems or your agentic systems. So how to secure your prompts such that your agentic AI will not expose secure data and not expose things. We'll talk about that. That is also very important. So that we'll discuss. Once we do this, you will be good at building agentic AI systems by the end of module 9. And finally, in the module 10, we'll be working on a project, end-to-end project. And here we are having a lot of ideas like travel planner, DevOps agent for task automation, or AI powered new summarizer. A lot of ideas we're having. So we also have one more idea, like which I was preferring, is video generation agent. But it is like it is very interesting use case also, the video generation agent, which I was, just a second, someone, scratched my screen. Okay, fine. So video generation agent is one thing. So most probably, if time permits, we'll discuss that. So, Manim, anyone used Manim previously? Have you ever watched this video from Three Blue, One Brown? There is one famous channel, YouTube channel called as Three Blue One Brown. Have you seen this guy's videos? This is very famous channel where they post content on AI related stuff. You know, data science and AI. Have you seen this content in a time? No? Okay, okay. So when if you have not see this, I mean, this is a very interesting channel where they post content related to AI. Why I'm talking about this channel, I'll tell you in just 2 minutes. But if you see the video, I'll just play one random video for you guys. Okay, so that you'll understand what I'm talking about. So yeah, so you can just see the way they are explaining they go deeper into the mathematical concept and explain things. Okay, you can see the way they are explaining, right? See the way. Now just imagine, what if a AI can generate this kind of video, right? This kind of explanation video, right? So that is what I'm talking about, Manim. Okay, so Manim is one library. Okay, um, so Manim is one library. Yeah, this is one library by Three Blue One Brown itself. The same whatever YouTube channel I showed you, that particular YouTube channel has actually released their own library, actually Python library. And this Manim tool, this is like a library which actually generates the video. If you write a code with the help of Python code, it can generate a video. Now, I'm not asking you to write a Python code to generate a video like whatever I showed previously. But what if I use AI to generate the video and do it for me, right? That is what we'll be doing in soon, right? That is also one use case which we'll be working on. We'll be using Agentic AI with Manim, and I'll show you how can you actually, use Agentic AI, and Manim will be like a tool for it. Like I told you, right? There will be some tools here, right? There will be some kind of, whenever you're working with agentic AI, you'll be having a lot of tools, right? So this Manim can be one tool for the AI to generate a video, whatever I just shown you. Whatever video I just shown you, this Manim can be a tool, but the AI will learn to use this tool and will be using this tool to work for us, right? Will not be writing the single line of code also in Manim. It will automatically write for us, right? So that kind of system. So what I'm saying is, whatever list you're seeing is not limited to. It is just the examples which we gave you of what project we'll be building. But yeah, so there are a lot of upcoming good projects which we'll be working on. For example, Money is my favorite one, so we'll be working on that. And then yeah, so if you want to see the what all stack, tool stack which we'll be working on, you can just go through this. So for LLMs, for local LLMs, for frameworks, agentic code, no code, vector DBs for vector, because for RAG, for UI we'll be using Streamlit and Gradio, which is very famous. So this is the idea. This is the idea of the curriculum, guys. What we'll be doing in this entire course, and this is approximately, the time. It depends. It depends upon your interest, okay, and also it depends upon the as I told you, this agentic AI is drastically changing, right? So maybe if I like, I might introduce new concepts in the middle, such that it might be helpful for you. So approximately this content is around, the planning is around 30 to 40 hours approximately. Okay. So that is the idea. Um, so this is the content which I want to show you. So before proceeding to the discussing about what is agentic AI and generative AI, if you have any questions related to this, you can ask me, or if you want to ask the questions at the last after discussing the concept, that is also fine. So whichever you're comfortable with. If you have any questions to shoot right now, you can obviously ask. But if no, if you want to ask it later at the end, also fine. So yeah, over to you guys. I'll give you 5 minutes or 2 minutes of time. Actually, 1 minute of time, and we can.
Will it be a regular batch?
Yes,
The
yes,
weekend
Venkat.
batch,
It is continuous classes. There will be no break maximum.
not the weekend or Saturday, Sunday, or you are planning?
Sorry, 1 second. Actually, your voice was very low. Let me try to increase my sound. Yeah, can you please repeat now?
Will it be a everyday batch, regular,
No,
or
it's only weekend. Only weekend.
only weekend? Yeah, that's
Only
good.
weekend. Yeah,
Saturday and Sunday, okay.
correct,
And
correct.
not decided the timings, right?
Timings, I guess it is decided. If I'm not sure, if I'm sure it is from 9 to 11, 9 to 2 hours, 2.5 hours. You can assume 2.5 hours. Yeah, from 9 or 9:30. You'll be getting that information regarding the timings, 9 or 9:30. But it will be around 2.5 hours per day, 2.5 to 3, depending upon the concept again. So you should take the buffer as 3 hours.
Sure. Yeah,
Okay, like half an hour, it can be like a discussion of doubts, or half an hour, it can be like discussion of any important concepts of the previous session, revising them. So sometimes extra half an hour can go there. So, but yeah, 2.5 to 3 hours per day.
Is the Python knowledge is mandatory?
Yes, 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 yes. Python is very important for this, because all the things, whatever we are doing right now, we'll be doing with Python.
Okay.
Python. Uh, Mainly Python is important. Here we'll be mainly working with tools, and we'll be working with how to implement tools. So there is no need of machine learning or deep learning knowledge here, because we'll be mainly working with how to use LLMs, not how to build LLMs here. Okay, mainly here this course is designed to how to use LLMs and how to build agentic AI systems, how to build agentic AI applications using systems. So there is no need to worry about machine learning or deep learning. But if you have the idea of machine learning and deep learning, good to have, because as you know, agentic AI, generative AI is the foundation of machine learning and deep learning models. However, in this course, as you've seen, we will not build the models from scratch. We'll be using it. So yeah, ML and DL is optional. Optional. Good to have, but optional.
Okay.
Any other questions? But
Hi,
Python is important. Yeah,
hi,
sorry.
Abhishek. This is Kirtana. Actually, I'm working as a Java backend developer.
Okay.
So I'm not sure whether this question is right to ask here, but I wanted to enhance my AI technology. Like I'm very new to AI. I have no
Yes.
background related to AI and Python. I have
Mhm.
experience only with Java and backend stuff. So
Okay.
will this course will be useful for me for my
Okay.
future career switch?
Okay. Okay. So yes. coming to that point, yes, the course will be useful for you, because trust me, even though if you don't want to switch your career also, learning agentic AI and generative AI will be helping you a lot, at least in future. Maybe not now. Maybe if you're continuously working and if you're having a real dependency in your company for Java, obviously you might not, you might not use it immediately, but in future, yes, maybe in next 1 to 3, because you have seen the rapid development going on and rapid change going on in the world, right? So maybe in future, you might be using it. So my suggestion is, learning Python is not a difficult task, because because you already have Java experience, and because you already have good Java knowledge. Python is very good, very easy than Java, because I was also a Java developer previously. Because I told you, right, I was an Android developer. I was doing Android with Java actually. Okay.
Okay.
So if you are good with Java, learning Python is very, 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 very easy. Trust me. So what I would recommend is, if you want to, if you are really interested in this particular course, maybe learning Python will require only at least 1 week of time. Basic Python, because for this basic Python is required. Somewhat classes and concepts, I guess you already know because you're good in Java.
Yeah.
So what I would recommend is maybe this week, before starting, because it will take, next week
మీటింగ్ లో
we'll be
ఉన్నాను.
start, next week we'll be starting the course, right? And in the initial days we'll be also working with very basic stuff. So maybe in that meantime you can learn Python, and then maybe we can suggest you some, our team can suggest you some good resources where you can learn Python. Okay, because there are a lot of open resources available everywhere, you can, for learning Python. So you can learn Python, and then you can parallelly, not parallelly, actually you have good time to learn Python. So maybe by that time you can be good with Python and do some basic stuff, and then come here and learn. That is what my suggestion is, but it will help you. This one will be helping for everyone. That is what I feel.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Abhishek.
Hello, good morning, Mr.
Yes.
Abhishek.
Yes, please.
This is Ulfat here. I want to ask in the same related the previous contestant has asked, right? I I want to build the models in deep learning.
You want to build models in deep learning, right?
We build the models using deep learning,
Okay.
using different architecture, ResNet, PVG, and all. We
Ah,
need to
okay.
show some like AU or a seeker or performance matrix,
మీటింగ్ జరుగుతుంది, ఆగు.
performance matrices, and then all the curves. By using this agentic AI and generative AI, can we create a models or can we build using based on algorithms?
See, okay, let me explain. See, now using agentic AI, you can generate the code. Okay, you can create a code agent kind of thing, which can generate the code for um, building the models. But alone, LLM or agentic AI will not build a model and give a PT file for you, or give a TensorFlow. For example, imagine you want to use PyTorch for building a deep learning model of ResNet, or if you want to use TensorFlow. Okay. So
Yes.
the agentic AI, or the if you build an agentic AI which can generate the code for you by giving a proper prompt, it can write a code and it can write requirements and everything for you. Okay. But it will not give a file for you. It will not build a model for you, because for building a model, you need to execute that code, and you have to execute that code in a GPU environment specifically. You can execute that
Exactly.
code in GPU
Exactly.
environment. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
And
exactly. We need
then
to run into GPU environment.
exactly. So you have to run in a GPU environment, and obviously you should monitor the result. But what you can do is, I can suggest you this point. What you can do is, using agentic AI, what you can actually do is, you can help you can use agentic you can write a agentic AI system where it can first generate the code for you, which will build the model. You can
Okay.
ask agentic, you can give the access of your terminal. Okay, there is options to give access of a terminal. So you can ask agentic AI to run the file, the main.py, or the train.py file to train the model. And then ask your AI to monitor the results also. Like whatever epoch it is running, it
Oh
can
yeah.
look into the each epoch and take that epoch data, and if at all the accuracy, or if at all the performance is not improving for every epoch, or if at all the performance is not accurate, maybe you can ask AI to modify the parameters, hyperparameters, because mainly in deep learning, you should mainly focus on updating the hyperparameters, right? The main training involves in updating hyperparameters, because the code and all for ResNet or whatever, ResNet or YOLO, or maybe if you want to work with VJ16 or Inception models or whatever it might be, you can easily get it online. But the main work lies in creating the data for your deep learning models, and also updating the hyperparameters. Okay, so maybe you can also use AI for pre-processing the data also. You can use AI to write a code for you to pre-process the data based on. So you can use AI to write a code
So
and monitor your results.
it's
But
basically
AI will not itself build the model. It will use your
exactly
compute resources to build a model and give you suggestions on how to build a model. That's it. Yeah.
understood. Thank you.
Yeah. So if you have used by any chance the the cursor editor, or in VS Code also you have Copilot. Okay, so that exactly does the same thing, but you can make it more advanced. Like that will only just generate the code, but you can actually make it more advanced to monitor your terminal and see the epochs running, and you can make it give the access of the terminal to monitor your results, and also give an access to update your
Yes,
parameters,
exactly.
stop your terminal whenever the epochs are not improving, like the accuracy is not improving. That kind of access you have to give. That is again a tools for agent to work with.
Understood.
Yeah, that's how the agentic AI works.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. So I hope we don't have any questions. So what we'll do is now let's start discussing about what exactly is AI and agentic AI. Okay. And then we will see a demo use case, and then if you have any further questions, we can also take up at the last. Okay. Okay. So I guess now, specifically, to be frank, whenever I start the session, whenever I start this sessions during olden days, I would always discuss what is AI all about. But I guess, frankly, to speak, to be frank, I guess we don't need to discuss about that, because I hope everyone of you know what is AI. Because now, because of the trending, this is now trending. Because before 2022, before ChatGPT, very few people know what is AI, right? Very few people were working on AI. A lot of people never thought about AI at all as a separate field, or never. A lot of people didn't actually, yes, there was a boom, but still not this much what you're seeing in today's world, right? So yeah, so always I would actually discuss about what is AI, but I don't want to do that, because already we know what is AI. But I'll just do an overview, right? What is AI system, right? So I guess everyone of any system which makes machine intelligent, right? Any system which actually makes machine intelligent. Like we humans are very intelligent, right? We can think, we can make decisions, we have a lot of available resources outside, right? So using that resources, we can actually make decisions. Using that resources, we can do things, we can do our task. For example, if you want to today, I ate dosa, okay, as a tiffin. Okay, now if I want to eat dosa, what should I need to first think about how to prepare the batter. Okay, I have the knowledge to prepare the batter. Now, okay, I know how to prepare the batter. For example, if I create if I prepare the batter, then I have to also know how to prepare the dosa, right? I need a tool like dosa pan and something like that, right? So that is what we can do. We are intelligent enough to do these things, these kind of things, right? That is what human is all about. Now, in the same way, giving, I mean, AI doing that kind of stuff, right? Whatever we are doing, right? Using the resources available, like how we are using some resources to do the stuff. In the same way, AI doing that stuff, AI using some resources to do that stuff is, I mean, the machine doing using the resources to do stuff is nothing but AI, correct? Any system which makes machine intelligent is AI, right? A simple definition is somewhere here, where it refers to machine or systems which will basically perform tasks which just generally requires human intelligence, but now we are able to do with AI, right? And
మొత్తం
you have seen.
15 ఇప్పుడు
So guys,
మొత్తానికి 15 అయినాయి.
I request you to mute your microphone if you're not speaking. Thank you. So yeah, so that is what AI, right? Now, and also you should know that coming to the AI systems, okay, like if I talk about an AI system, this is the common picture which we always see, okay. So this is AI is everything. Like AI is just a huge branch. AI is a generalized system where you're having a lot of sub branches like machine learning, you can take deep learning, you can take generative AI. Now you're having agentic AI. Agentic AI is inside generative AI, right? So these are the different branch. Now, uh, what is the difference between a traditional machine learning and deep learning and generative AI? That is what we have to discuss. Okay. So if you talk about AI specifically, so AI is this. Whatever architecture you are seeing, this is AI, right? So what AI does, it will take your data, it will try to learn from the data. So you'll be having an algorithm. Okay. You'll be having an algorithm. The algorithm learns from your historical data. And from that learnings, it will try to do some stuff for you. What kind of stuff will understand, but ultimately you'll get an AI model. Now, whenever you're working with ML or DL models, machine learning or deep learning models, which is typically called as traditional AI right now. Okay. Now, these are called as traditional AI. Machine learning and deep learning is called as traditional AI. The actual previous means before the rise of GenAI, people were using this a lot, right? That these machine learning and deep learning models were built to predict something. For example, just now one of your participant, right? She told that she wanted to build a deep learning model, right? What is the reason for building a deep learning model? Like, for example, you can use a deep learning model to predict a image. Given an image, you can just tell, okay, what is in that image, classify an image. For example, ResNet, she want to use ResNet. So it will classify the image. Given a image, it will say, okay, this image contains that. This image contains dog. This image contains cat. It will predict it. Or for example, if an image contains, or for example, you can just give a data or give a text and classify the text. So something like just predicting stuff. But Gen AI is beyond that, right? It is not just predicting. Gen AI is responsible to generate content, right? The generative AI models are basically kind of models which is responsible to generate content. So what actually happens here? So you have a historical data again, or you have a data. Like if you know ChatGPT was trained with lots and lots of data, correct? So you'll be having a lot and lots of data. So you'll feed the data to a model, especially these models are specifically a transformer based models, we can say. Again, guys, transformer is one of the architecture by Google. It was released in 2027, sorry, 2017, and this was actually, was a game changer. Okay. Again, this transformer is a slight improvement of deep learning model itself. Okay, that is the reason if you see this architecture, this hierarchy, you can see the Gen AI is inside deep learning. Why? Because the Gen AI models, whatever you are using right now, are just the advancement of deep learning models. Okay, so what is data, whatever you're having, you'll be just giving to the, it will learn to do what? These transformer models learn to just generate content. That is the main difference. If you see that, this is the main difference, guys. Now people were using ML and DL a lot like before Gen AI. So if you see the traditional ML DL algorithms, these are the traditional ML. This is the purpose of general traditional ML DL algorithms. So you have historical data, you have an algorithm, right? Kind of a neural network, okay, or any kind of ML model. The ultimate goal of this model was to just predict. The task was to just predict. But now what happens, you have a generative AI models where you use transformer based architectures, and the ultimate goal is to generate content, and these are called as Gen AI models. The ultimate goal is to generate content. Okay. Now the question is, what do you mean by generating content? Okay, that is very important to understand. Okay, what is actually meant by generating content? Okay, that is very important to understand. Okay, now you just go to ChatGPT, guys, and what you do? I guess every one of you use ChatGPT, right? So what you do in ChatGPT? I want your ideas. Well, I want your use cases. Like why did you use ChatGPT? I mean, what you have used ChatGPT for at the last? I mean, recently, what you use ChatGPT for? Tell me, everyone. Don't tell any technical words, but what was your use case? Just you can post in chat why you have used ChatGPT for. To create GPT, you have used ChatGPT to create another GPT. Get some suggestions. Okay. Getting some suggestions of any use case. Can you tell me which use case you have worked on to be more precise? To be precise, getting some suggestions about what? Okay. Some kind of summarizations. Okay. Kirtana used it for fixing an error in Kafka. Fix error on Kafka. Okay. Next, getting some code suggestions. Okay, code modifications. Code modification. So if you see this, what exactly it is, what exactly it is doing is, it is taking your question, right? It is taking your question and based on the question, it is trying to generate content here. For example, it is generating summarized data. Once you provide a huge data, maybe it is giving a just summarization of that. Or if you provide a error, it will try to generate content to fix the error. Or if you provide a code, it will try to modify that code. Okay. So this generative AI is all about that. Generative AI is given some question or given some input, or we can say prompt. It is designed to generate content and the content can be not just the text, right? If you see the various use cases which you are using itself, it was not just a text, right? The content can be a text which, for example, Venkat has used to summarize. A content can be a code which Chandrakant has used to modify, right? A content can be a command maybe. A command again, it's a text only, but it's command which Kirtana used for fixing some errors in Kafka. Okay, a content can be an image, okay, which maybe like someone has used for doing some content can be a video. So anything, ultimately content can be anything. So these GenAI models, that is the reason it's called a generative, right? Generative means what? Generating AI, right? Using to intelligence. AI is all about intelligence, right? That is what we just discussed. So generating content through intelligence. Okay, like how we can, for example, now I'm just speaking without seeing any text, right? I'm just speaking my brain. Whatever I'm getting in my brain, I'm just speaking that, right? How am I able to speak that? Because I'm intelligent enough to speak. I've learned a lot on this part, right? In the same way, that we AI is something which does the same thing, right? It will does the same thing here. So whatever algorithm, whatever learning data you're having, that you'll be feeding to the models, and the models will start learning from that. Actually learn from that. And now whatever GPT models or Llama models or Gemini models you're seeing, those all are the trained models which can generate content for you. Okay, based on the learning part. Now the point here is, I guess you have faced a situation, right? Like whenever you ask a question to the chat GPT about recent stuff, recent stuff, sometimes it might not able to say about recent things because it was only trained up to some data. Okay, there will be some cutoff date for every model, right? If you know, for example, if I just go to uh, chat GPT, if I ask what is your cutoff date, right? For example, so it says my knowledge is up to June 24, 2024. So what happens here is this particular AI is only trained up to the data of 2024, June 2024. So if you ask any questions which is beyond 2024, It might work because now this ChatGPT is also like an agentic AI. I'll tell you how. But ideally, if you work with a raw model, it is only talks about up to 2024, right? So means what? From its training data, from its whatever it has learned internally, it will be able to generate the content based on that, from that knowledge, okay, from that knowledge. So now if you ask me what is transformer or what is this model all about, I could say that this entire model, whatever you're seeing, the entire GenAI model is consists of huge memory in the form of, numbers, huge memory. This entire GenAI model is nothing but a very, very huge memory. Okay. So whenever you ask a question, this model is intelligent enough to invoke the right memory. Like, for example, our human brain also works in the same way. In our human brain, we have a lot of neurons, right? We have a lot of neurons in the human brain. So whenever we see something, or whenever we see something which we already know, our brain will invoke that neuron or invoke that memory such that you'll be able to recognize. For example, if you have seen a friend after a very long, after long back, okay, so then obviously your brain start recognizing, your brain start invoking that memory, correct? So that same way the GenAI models are created. It was inspired from your brain. So it's like a gigantic memory, and with some capabilities, and basically that will be helping us to generate the content for specific. It was designed, it was specialized in especially generating content. Like how it will generate content in a sense, that is again, there is a concept called as next sentence prediction, where given a sentence, it will predict the next sentence, where first sentence might be your question and the second sentence might be your answer. So it will just try to estimate your answer based on the question. That is how it was trained in the backend. Okay, like given a question, it was trained to generate the answer with help of the knowledge it has, with help of the information it has. Right. So there is a lot of stuff going on the backend. So let's not go deeper into that part. Our idea is to not go deeper in technical parts, but I'm just explaining you like what exactly generally happens in the backend. Okay, but our idea is to use the models. So that is the main point. So generative AI is all about working with generating content. Okay, now that we got an idea of what is generative AI, now we should understand what is LLMs. Okay, we should understand what exactly is LLMs, right? That is very, very important to understand. Basically, LLM stands for large language models. Okay. Now, recently, a very famous term also came into the picture, that is called as LCM. Okay, LCM stands for large context models. Okay. So we'll discuss this stuff soon. But first thing, what is LLMs? Let's discuss what is LLM. So LLMs are the core brain, I can say. So like the model itself is called as LLM. Ideally, the model itself is called as LLM. Okay, whatever models we're using. For example, ChatGPT uses ChatGPT is a application. Okay, it uses a model called as GPT-4, and this GPT-4 is a LLM, right? GPT-4 is an LLM. Now, first thing, if you see this term, it is called as large language model. You know what is a model, right? A trained system, right? Here, if you see this architecture, if you see the architecture which I just showed you, uh, what happens in AI? You will feed a historical data. The algorithm learns from the historical data, and it will ultimately results in model, right? So model is that a trained system, a trained AI system is a model. Okay. So now the point here is, what is large language? What is meant by large and what is language? Okay. First thing, it is large because it is having very, very high number of parameters. What is meant by parameters again? I'll explain. Don't worry. But the thing is, here it is called as large because it is having very high parameters. So you can assume like in a layman term, you can assume like a memory. parameters like our memory, which saves some information. Language, why it is called as language? Because these models were designed for working with human spoken language, right? So there is one branch in AI called as NLP, okay, which stands for basically natural language processing. Okay. So what is this actually this branch does, right? What this branch does means this is a branch of AI, one of the branch of AI, okay, like natural language processing, we call it as, which is mainly for working with human spoken text. Like if you want to make AI understand human spoken data, like for example, now whatever you're asking question to ChatGPT is able to answer in a human spoken, right? That is language. So ability of a machine to understand human spoken text is NLP. I mean the natural language processing. So whatever large language models you're seeing, LLM models, the GPT-4 or GPT 4.1, these are trained on top of a human spoken language, right? Human spoken language. Now, again, when I say language, it's not specific to only English. It can be English, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, any kind of Indian languages or foreign languages. It can be any kind of languages. Ultimately, it was trained on human spoken language. It was trained on human spoken languages. That is the reason it will generate human spoken language, whatever you're seeing. Okay, that is the reason these are called as language models. So large language model. Now, first thing, let's understand deeply about what is large. Okay, let's understand what is large to make it more clear to you. Okay, because see guys, whatever we are discussing right now are like the base of agentic AI. Because if you understand what is GenAI, if you understand what is LLMs, then only you understand what is agentic AI. Okay, cool. So let's continue. So first, let me explain what is large. What is meant by term large? Large means obviously huge, right? See guys, before GPT, okay, for example, just now one of our participant, right? One of our participant, I've actually talked about ResNet, right? A model called as ResNet, Ulfa, right? She talked about a model called as ResNet. What is ResNet? ResNet is one of the deep learning model. Like I told you, right? Basically, if you see the AI branches, you're having something called as deep learning here. Not to understand about deep learning, but I'm just explaining the background. Okay, there will be some deep learning models. Okay, so what is deep learning? Again, what is deep learning? If you ask me, it's nothing but a algorithm. It's again an algorithm, AI algorithm, which is based out of a concept called as neural networks. Okay, neural networks. Okay, neural networks means, as I told you already, right, we are basically building an AI system which is working like a human brain. So neural network is something which was inspired from the human brain. Okay, like how do we have neural system in your human brain? In the same way, the neural network is something which was inspired from the human brain, and it looks something like this. Okay, if you just see this picture, this one, you can see this picture, right? This one, it looks something like this. And if you see this, each circle here is like a neuron, right? Like how do we have neurons in your human brain to process information? Like basically in human brain also, neurons are something which process and think, right? In the same way, here also we are having a lot of neurons basically, and it can process and think. Basically, it can process and think and analyze situations, right? So similarly, like how do we have a number of neurons in the brain? So like in our human brain, we're having millions of neurons. During deep learning phases, whenever the people were building a neural network system, there were the number of neurons they would decide and they would keep it minimal, like maybe 200 neurons or 500 neurons or maybe 10,000 neurons or 20,000 neurons or maximum maybe 1 million neurons, 2 million neurons, maybe maximum to 500 million neurons, something like that. 500 million neurons is also actually very huge, but they would keep like this. Now the question is, why do we have that many neurons? More the neurons, more information it can capture, because neurons are nothing but again a memory unit. Okay, neurons are considered as a memory unit. You should understand that neurons are considered as a memory unit. Like I told you, right? GenAI is all about a gigantic memory, which is invoking based on your question. So in the same way, in that generative AI system, neurons are nothing but a memory unit. Like how do we have memory in our brain, and whenever you see something, your brain is able to invoke that memory. In the same way, neuron is something was designed by the engineers, by the data scientists and the AI engineers, basically the researchers, AI researchers, such that it can invoke. It's a memory and it can invoke, and memory in terms of numbers. So during the deep learning era, before 2022, people were using very less number of neurons. I told you already, neurons, more number of neurons, more memory, more performance, and also more information it can capture. But the thing is, before Gen AI, before ChatGPT, this neural network was only designed to do basic stuff like recognizing an image. You might think recognizing image is not a basic stuff, maybe, but yeah, doing those. But compared with now current AI system, now it is a basic stuff, like recognizing an image or classifying some text. For example, something like this. Okay, let me show you. I will show my old, if possible, old things. Okay, somewhere else. Okay, somewhere else. That's fine. But yeah, so recognizing stuff like, for example, I'll just show you. I'll just show you one image, which which I was always using to explain people. Yeah, look at this image. This was the image which I was talking about. Now, the old models which we were working on previously, like before the era of generative AI, this is how it was working, right? Like it was just given a cat, given an image, it was classifying, okay, there was a cat in this image. More, I mean, if you want to make it more advanced, it was just telling, okay, here I can find the cat, here I can find the dog, or here I can find the dog. This was the deep learning models, whatever you're saying. Example, deep learning models, okay? But now generative AI is beyond this, right? It's not only just telling where is the cat and where is the dog. It can explain the color of the cat, what is the where is the cat, whether left side or right side, or like how is the cat looking, the emotions of the cat, all these things Gen AI can do. But how it can do these things? Because previously, during the you got my point, right? You got my point, right? Now this, in this previous case, it is just identifying whether the cat is there or not. That's it. It cannot do anything beyond that. Okay. These models, whatever you're seeing on the screen, these things, if you see, it will just say, okay, there is a cat or is there or not. And maximum it can say where is the position of the cat. That's it. Not more than this. Not more than this. It cannot say what is the emotion of the cat. It cannot say, I mean, if you want to do that also. For example, if you want to make it if you want to find out the emotion of the cat, or if you want to find out which side the cat is, left side or right side, again you have to build one more model for that. Getting my point? You have to build one more model for that. Again, that is again you have to do a lot of data annotations. You have to prepare the data accordingly. But now the thing is that is easily done by generative AI system. Now, if I upload this image to the model ChatGPT and ask where is the cat, what is the color of the cat, or what is the color of the dog, or what is the color of the duck, whether the duck is a real one or the just a fake one, it can easily tell, right? How it is possible? From the basic systems like this to advanced systems, how it is possible? Because of this large, because of that large, the term large. So what they have done here is, of course, not only large, again, to make it clear, of course, the model also helped us. That is what I'll talk about next, which model they have used. Of course, the transformer already told you, but the large is also one of the important factor you have to consider, because model is only not the only one thing which actually did it, right? So the large is also one more factor which actually helped it. The large is indicate means more number of neurons, large number of neurons, more number of neurons. Like previously, these models, if you ask me, guys, these models were using maximum 10 million parameters, 20 million parameters, 30, 40, 50, 60, maximum 60. Sometimes 100, 500. 500 is last, guys. 500 is maximum generally. 500 million. Okay. 500 million to 500 million, let's assume the previous deep learning models were using 500 million model. Is 500 million model is actually very huge for them. in the previous case. Why they were using only 500 million neurons means because of compute memory, because memory and stuff, because running a 500 million model requires a good CPU, or at least it requires a good GPU, at least smaller GPU or a good CPU. Without having good compute, you cannot do that, and also enough data. Data is also very important. But now what happened is these OpenAI people actually, because OpenAI were the first movers, right? So what they've done here is they increase the number of neurons. And do you know the first, the first chat GPT version I'm talking about? The first chat GPT version was GPT-3. Means what? Before chat GPT-3, there was GPT-2. There was also GPT-1. Okay. But GPT-3, specifically, I'll talk about GPT-3 today because GPT-3 was the one which made the generative AI go crazy, right? So, which actually introduced the generative AI system, correct? So, GPT-3 was actually, 175 billion parameters. 175 billion parameters. So you can just imagine the size of the model which they worked on. Right? That is the reason it requires lot and lot of GPU, huge GPUs. That is the reason they collaborated with Microsoft to get the compute. They are working with NVIDIA to get the GPUs. So that many number of neurons and that many number of that many number of parameters they will have. Because neurons will be having one parameter called as weight. That weight itself is like a memory, that will store your information, and that will store your learnings. Weights are nothing but your learnings. Whatever data you are giving, that learning of the model is done by using something called as weights. Okay, so approximately in your GPT-3 we were having 175, and GPT-3 was released when 2022. Now this number is very huge. Now it is going up to 600 to 700 billion. Right now the latest models, for example, DeepSeek model, DeepSeek was around 600 billion, sorry. So like that, it is going up to this high level values. So that is how it's called as large language. Okay, large language model. That is the reason it's called as large. 600, 700, 800 billion parameter model they are working on. And language, because there were those models were trained with language. And model, coming to the model, not only increasing the memory made this possible. Okay, not only just increasing the number of parameters made this possible. There was one architecture which made this possible. That is the transformer. This architecture, the transformer, was the game changer, guys. Also, there was an architecture called as GAN for images, but that, even though it was released in 2014, around 2014, but it didn't made that much of impact. But transformer made a very, very, very good impact. So this architecture was released in 2017, and this architecture made a very good impact because this architecture was solving a lot of issues by the previous models. Before transformers, there was attention systems and LSTMs. There were a lot of issues with attention systems for advanced use cases. See, basic use cases were working. Whatever use cases I told you were working, like sentiment analysis or basic generation of question and answer and all things. But not the stuff which we are working on currently, which we were having in current GPT models. Now, but the transformer resolved many issues related to LSTMs, like it can be a sequential, word by word processing issue, or it can be a memory issue, or it can be a computation issue, parallel processing issue. All these things were resolved in something called the attention mechanism and transformers. And because of that, this transformer was a game changer. And because of this, model came at 2017, and the OpenAI people experimented with this model and increased the memory, made them so many billion parameters, and also they also got a very open source data. They completed to the open source data, and from there, the idea of GPT-3 came here. Was introduced, and from there, the rest is history. You can see a lot of developments going on in the generative AI. So that's how this concept of LLMs came into the picture, and what is LLMs are. So LLMs are nothing but large language models. I hope now you know what is meant by large language models, right? Large indicates very huge parameters. Language is nothing but the number of parameters, like the language, the human spoken language, and model is nothing but the architecture used for building this model. Okay, so now why we learned about LLMs, because LLMs are nothing but the brain, right? LLMs is one, whatever you just learned is for generating content. Now whatever ChatGPT is doing is because of the LLM called as GPT 4.1, right? If you see here, you can see somewhere it will be given like what is, you can also ask which LLM you are using. Okay, which LLM model you are using, for example, right? So yeah, it is using interacting with GPT-4, okay, and specifically the GPT-4o mini. So this is a LLM model. This is the LLM model which they have actually worked with, and it's called as LLM model, right? So like that, the LLMs are like a brain for the this one, okay, for this one. Now the question is, these LLM models are now slowly, after LLM was introduced, they have improved it a lot and also add an option of vision also, like vision models. They have also add the option of vision models, and they're calling it as vision language models, VLMs, where given a, so one model which we are familiar about is given a text, it will just generate the text for us. One more was image. So given a text, it can generate an image for us, right? Now, for example, if I just go to GPT and ask, uh, you know generate me image of a person sitting in a office, something like that. Okay, random stuff, random, if I ask it, it can do it, right? It can do it. So this is the extended capabilities they have done, right? So from the language, they are generating the image, okay? That kind of models we have, and also generating a video from the language, like Sora based models. Also, just give an image and ask it to learn, explain me about the image. So this kind of extended capabilities they have asked, they have made it the LLM model. It's not only just the text, but text to video or text to image models, all this kind of models, they have improved it a lot. I mean, of course, we'll be also working on that type of models, but they have done this. Okay, this is a story about LLMs. Right? This is a story about LLMs and the generative AI. Okay, any questions before understanding what is agentic AI? Any questions till now? Are we clear with what is generative AI and what is LLMs? Yeah, and moreover, guys, even these are text to video models or text to image models. Still, these are called as LLMs or VLMs. VLM is one more term, vision language models. But ultimately, these all comes under the LLM tree itself. Okay, I'll also talk about what is LCM soon. But yeah, any questions as of now on this part? Any questions? Are we clear with whatever we have discussed till now? Are we clear? Great. Okay. So now that we know what is Gen AI and what is LLM, LLM is a model which can LLM is something which can help us to do and generate content. Okay. Okay. Now we'll understand what is agentic AI. Now, after the rise of generative AI, slowly people started understanding how generative AI can do stuff and what generative AI cannot do. Right. Now, what is Gen AI or LLM models can do? Imagine you're having a LLM model. It can be any LLM model. What it can do, given a instruction, like you'll give an instruction, whatever we are just giving, which is also called as prompt, right? What it does, ultimately, this is responsible to generate the content, right? That's it. That is the main goal. Generate the content. Now, I'll ask a question to you. Can this LLM model send an email? Can this LLM model send an email on behalf of you? That's a question to you. Can ChatGPT send an email on behalf of you? Forget about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is just a simple application, right? But if I am using a LLM model, can it generate an email? Can it send an email on behalf of you? Okay. Can it book a ticket on behalf of you? Can it book a ticket on behalf of you? Like for example, I've seen one message from your from one of the person like Pavan. No, from Ravi. He told that to know which side window seat I can book to in the bus to avoid sun in the morning journey, something like that. Okay, but it can, but can it book a ticket? Can it book a seat to avoid sun in morning journey for you? Right? It cannot do it. Correct? Can it? Like for example, maybe. Let me give some examples. Um, can it go to your maybe any kind of uh, computer system in your system and do some kind of regular task you want to do? No, right? So because if you see this, what I want to convey here is these LLMs are designed only to generate content. Now, in whatever use cases I've taken here, for example, in sending the email, it cannot send an email, but can it generate an email? Can it compose the email? Can it compose the email? Correct? For us, do you agree? Yes, it can compose the email. Very good. Can it? Uh, but the question is, it will compose the email. Okay, very good. But imagine you found some flaws in the email. Can it automatically resolve it? Again, a question to you guys. For example, it found some flaws in the email. You found some flaws in the email. Without your input, can it automatically resolve it? No, right? Again, you have to say, okay, there is some flaws in the email. Please refine this. There is some issues in the email. Please define this. Correct? Right? We need to provide input again. Correct? That is what our idea is. Again, we have to give the email. I mean, it is having the memory because it's having some memory. Maybe it is also having some memory. You'll include some memory. You have to include some memory. So what happens? It will. You have to give the email again with the updated prompt that okay, that this email is having some issue, so you should obviously update it. So again, we should do that. Okay, that is a problem. Okay, but it can compose the email. And also, if you again give a refinement, it can do it. It can do it, obviously. Right? It can make it, it can make the email better. Second, again, what I was talking about, can it book a ticket? No, but it can tell you which seat is best, which seat is best for your requirement, which seat is best, or it can tell you which website is having lesser cost. Or no, not which website, but which maybe which not which website is now not it's difficult for LLM because the data changes, but it can say which seat is best, for example, whatever. But it cannot tell which website is best, which website is having the lesser cost, right? Which website is having the less cost seat and book for us automatically, right? That is one problem. So this kind of stuff the agents cannot do. Sorry, the LLMs cannot do, right? The generative AI systems cannot do. Means the thing is, if you observe carefully, this is just like a brain. LLM will be acting like a brain. Given a question, it will answer you. That's it. But it cannot do action. It cannot perform any action, right? It's just to generate content. That is where the concept of the agentic AI came into the picture. So what people thought is, why not use this brain to perform the action? Now the brain, and whenever I refer the brain, guys, it's LLM, okay? Now we are having a brain which can do a lot of good stuff. It can do a lot of interesting stuff like generating code or generating generating email or maybe telling you which seat is best. When it can do that, why don't you make this LLM to do the stuff also, not only generate but do the stuff also? That is where the concept of agentic AI system came in. Okay. Now, what agentic AI is, how agentic AI is different from generative AI, what is agentic AI means? In the concept of agentic AI, what happens is the agentic AI is just the mixture of what you have done till now. That is, agentic AI will have LLM as the brain, and LLM is responsible to take the decision and to think because LLM can think. And because LLM needs some tools to do this stuff. So you will provide some tools to this system. So the agentic AI will be having some tools to perform an action, because it has to remember what it has done previously, and also it has to remember between the action. So you'll provide some memory, and also it needs a lot of context to do the stuff. So you'll provide some context, like what is a background, and also you will provide the some kind of instructions. So if you clearly see, agentic AI is not just the LLM. Agentic AI is nothing but it's having LLM as a brain. It will be acting like a brain, right? It is having the context. It is having some tools access. Now you can ask me what is tools. I'll explain. Don't worry. It is having memory and it is having some instructions. And ultimately, these agentic AI systems are ultimately the systems, the intelligent systems to perform a task. Not only just to generate content. Till now, we have seen the systems which can only generate content. But these are the systems which use your instructions, which are intelligent systems which uses the resources to perform a task, to perform a task. And that is what agentic AI. For example, now in the previous case, we understood that the LLM can only compose the mail. But now what happens is, in this case, you can build an agentic, for example, let's assume you want to build a agentic AI system for sending a mail. Okay. The task is sending the mail. So what you can do is, you can build an agentic AI system where you can build one agent. Agent again is nothing but something which is having tools and all this. This is nothing but an agent. Okay. I can say this is agent, which is having all this access, which is having all this access is agent. Okay. That's it. So you can build an agent such that the first agent maybe, use LLM to write a mail, to compose a mail, right? Another agent which will validate your mail, and these two agents will communicate with each other. Okay, these two agents will communicate with each other. So what this composer does? This agent, the email composer, you can assume this is an email composer agent. Okay, you can assume this is a email because see guys, in our course we'll be doing this use case. That is the reason I'm just telling you. Okay, so this email composer agent will use LLM to write a mail, and it will send to the validation agent, which will validate the email. Now how it will validate? Again using LLM only. LLM is a brain here. LLM is something like how we have human brain. Here it's having the brain. So LLM will, maybe it can be a same LLM or it can be different LLM, whatever it might be. Ultimately, it's your choice, and it can validate the stuff. And if at all there is some issues, again it will send back automatically to another. So there is no human here. Of course, you can add human in loop. That is a different scenario, but I'm just telling you. So this agent will communicate with each other, and what happens is you can have this validation agent can tell the email agent that there is some issues here, fix it. Again, validate again. So once the validation agent passes the test and say that okay, this email is good, then this agent will have access to tools, lot of tools. What is a tool? Now, for sending an email, maybe it needs a Gmail access. So the tool can be Gmail. Maybe sometimes for composing this mail also, the agent need an access. Maybe for example, the email is about latest news. Okay, you need to send an email about latest news, imagine. Now, do you think the raw model which you are using will have the access to the latest news? For example, imagine now this one, what I was talking about. This one, right? You can see what is the cutoff date for the model, June 2024, right? Now, whatever happened after 2024, can it answer? Generally, I'm talking about raw model. Can it answer whatever happened after June 2024? Tell me. Can it answer? No, right? Because the cutoff date is 2024. So maybe if you want to get the latest information, the email composer might need a tool, like maybe web search tool. So maybe this agent will search in the web to compose the email for the latest information, right? And this agent will use the Gmail tool to send the email. And then the instructions, obviously. So this is what agentic AI. So now this entire thing is automated. That is what. So ultimately, what you're doing is we are building an automation system with brain. That's it. Agentic AI, to make it more simple, it is just a automation system with brain. Automation system with brain. Previously, also there were a lot of automation system guys, as you know, right? Previously, before GenAI, also there were people were building automation system, but there was no brain involved in that. There was no brain. So if you want to do something, you have to always go back and change it and again come back, again run it. But now you have a brain in that automation system. That is LLM. So you're automating all this stuff using the brain, and the brain will decide what to do next. What to do next? What is the tools of here? See, for example, now without the Gmail, for example, tool is nothing but it is like something like uh, uh, it is like something which is agent can use or LLM can use to do the stuff. For example, now in this case, for sending an email, it needs a Gmail tool, right? Without Gmail tool, how it can send the email? Because normal LLM is just to generate content, but it cannot send a mail. But now we provide an access to Gmail tool to send the mail. So LLM will use the tool to send the mail. So what happens is LLM will generate the mail, validate the mail, and LLM will automatically call this tool, and send the mail. In the same way, there is one more tool called as web search tool. I'm giving an example here. In this case, what happens? Because the LLM memory is slightly not updated. LLM is not updated. LLM memory is not updated. So what you do, you give a web search tool as an option where it can search in a website, search in various, do a Google search, get that information and use that to compose the mail. So web search is a tool. So tools are various functions only, you can assume, like a simple functions which can do a task. Okay. And LLM will use that tools to perform the action, to make the things done. Okay. Because without that tools, LLMs are just for generating content, but with that tools, it can also perform action. So tools are something like, for example, imagine you're having a knowledge of making a dosa batter. Because I'm taking a dosa batter because today morning I had dosa. So don't think why I'm always talking about dosa here. But yeah, so imagine you already have a knowledge of dosa batter. So if someone asks you how to make a dosa batter, you'll say steps like you have to take that, you have to take this series of steps. You'll say. But if you want to actually make the dosa batter without having the necessary resources, can you make a dosa batter? Without having the necessary resources, can you make a dosa? You can only say that I know how to make a dosa batter, and you can tell the steps. So that is only theoretical. But if you want to practically do it, you should have the enough resources, correct? Do you agree? Do you agree? Like you need a mixie, right? You need some kind of grains to do the mixie and prepare the batter. Agree? Agree? These all are the resources which you have to, because you already have the knowledge. Using the knowledge, you'll be using the resources to make it. So in the same way, LLM is something which is just theoretical. It will just generate content. But tools are something which is helping the LLM to use it and do the stuff. Okay. If I read one research paper and if I want to mail to some person about this, yeah, you can do that. Yes. For example, imagine that is a latest research paper and the AI doesn't know about that. Now you'll just ask your AI system to mail this about this research paper. So it will automatically compose your mail. It will automatically search in the website for that research paper, automatically search. Now, normal LLM model will not have the ability to search in the internet. But the tool which you're providing for the LLM model will be able to search in the internet, get the research paper content, and use that research paper content to compose the mail. Correct? Now, if you normally ask to compose the mail, because it doesn't have the access for the research paper, it doesn't have the tool to search in the online, it cannot compose the mail, or it can compose some random stuff. Do you agree? Yeah, but now because you provided this tool, it will use this tool to search online or do something, and then it can compose the mail for you. Okay, make sense? Make sense? Yeah. That this is one example. Like that, multiple examples. For example, ticket booking agent. Okay, imagine ticket booking agent. Okay, imagine ticket booking agent. Let's assume. Now, in ticket booking agent, now you can ask LLM to search in online. Again, here you can have an agent, okay, which have an ability to do a web search. Web search is a tool. Okay, web search is a tool, and you can have LLM. So the agent, the LLM will automatically search in the websites and give you a list of cheaper and best rated, maybe bus. Okay, let's assume you're booking a bus ticket. So it can give a list of websites or list of providers, with cost. Then you can have a human. You can tell, okay, book the first ticket. You can just give an instruction that book the first one. Then automatically another agent, maybe or same agent, can have one more access, one more tool access of booking, and this tool is booking tool, where it will automatically go to the website, book a tool. It also has your credit card details, maybe. It will take your credit card details and book it for you. Something like that. Just imagine. So these tools are nothing but the extra capabilities you're giving to LLM apart from the brain to do the stuff. LLM is just something which can think. But if you give the tools, think with tools is where your entire game changes. Okay. Agent is not the link of the research paper. Agent is the system, the framework. Your web search tool will be using that link. You're not providing the link manually, Pavan. The tool will automatically get that research paper for you. Got it? The tool will get that research paper for you automatically by searching in online. Got it? Your agent is not the link of the research paper. Agent is a system here. See, very simple, Pavan. You can assume agent like a human. Okay. Now to the human, you will give the link of the research paper, right? Like that, your web search tool is giving the link of the research paper to the agent. And the brain behind the agent is LLM. Got it. So agent is like an automation system. That's it. Which has a brain, and that is the brain is LLM, and with necessary tools to do the task. Okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So just imagine like this. Okay. You have a human agent. Okay. It's an agent. Basically, it's a human. You can assume like an artificial human. Okay. Now we as a humans have lot of tools access. In the same way, to the agent, you can give tools. Okay. Tools means resources to do the stuff. And to use these tools, now just only giving tools will not make sense, right? To use the tools, it has to know how to use the tools. It has to know how to use the tools. Correct. And that can be done by LLM, because LLM is a brain. Because LLM can think, it will think and know how to use the tools. And ultimately, what it does, what is the use of that? It will ultimately do the task based on the instruction. So you provide an instruction. Based on this instruction, LLM will think. That thinking capability will be helping us to use specific tools. Based on tools, again, it will think. So again, this is an iterative process. It's not like sequential. It will think, use tools, again think, use tools until it get all the information. It will do this stuff, and then ultimately your task will be done. That is what the agentic system is all about. Make sense? Anyone having any questions here? Anyone having any questions here, please? If you have any small question, please don't hesitate to ask. Any questions? Okay, so I hope we don't have any questions. So let me proceed. Okay, let me show you some examples. So if you see what exactly agent does, that is what the agent does. I mean, whatever I just told you, you can see, for example, one more example you can see. You are having an agent with some, maybe you might have some goal description, goal description and tools description. And you give some tools like company data can be one tool, company apps can be one tool, web access, searching in the web is one tool, and LLM as a brain. Now, what this does, using these tools, it can do whatever goal you want to do, whatever you want to achieve. That is what LLM is all. No. That is my point, Chandrakant. You don't have to learn web scraping. The agent will do it for you. AI will do that. AI will do the web scraping. That's the interesting point I want to make. AI will do that. Is what you have to just provide the tools. That's it. Agent will do it for you. Scrapping agent will do. AI will do it for you. That is what. That is where the LLM will come. Yeah. See, that is the point. You have to just give the tool. Now the question is, see, there are predefined tools for web search, okay, for web scraping. So what it will do is it will just go online and give it the raw content. The LLM will automatically scrap it for you. No need to worry. No need to we don't need to manually scrap it. In the same way, basic tools you have to develop. At least basic things you have to develop. Basic code we write in the tools. That's it. Okay. I'll show you once we'll proceed now. Once we proceed with the actual things, now you'll understand more about this, because now till now I guess as you have not used till now, you might have some doubts like what is tool, how do you write tool? Maybe you have to code the tool from scratch. Some cases yes, some cases no. You'll understand slowly. It's not too difficult also. So that is the thing. One more example you can see how it works. LLM will have the access for your database also. Some LLM. So someone asked me like LLM, can you please give me an example of agent AI? Yes, using database. Correct. So I'll show you one example. This is the example. LLM. The database can be a tool. This database also can be a tool. Okay. It's having the database access and it can. So now, generally, let me ask a question. An interesting point we got also. An interesting point. Now, if you want to get the data, if you people are already having some database experience, let's assume. If you want to get a data from a database, how do you do that? If you want to get a data from a database, how do you do that? Imagine it's a SQL database. You'll write queries, right? You'll write queries, and using queries, you'll get the data, or you'll basically do a lot of operations with data. But what if the AI agent will do it for you? That is where one more example. And in our company, we are actually doing this. So what happens is, again, you'll be having an agent. Okay. And to this agent, you'll give the access of the database. Okay. And also to this agent, you'll give a tool. Okay. To maybe a tool to access the database. Okay. And you will give the LLM. Now, what this does is, maybe an example I'll tell you. Okay. Now, imagine you give an instruction like what it should do with the tools and database. Okay. Now, for example, if user asks a question in this particular DB or in this particular database, how many users we have? Now, what happens is LLM will take this question, because LLM is already having the access to the tool. It will use the tool and automatically write a query. This LLM, because LLMs are good at writing code, right? You already seen. For example, specifically Claude models are good at writing code. So maybe the LLM will actually write a code, write a SQL query for you. And not only writing query. See, right now I know a lot of people are generating SQL queries, but not only writing the query, it will automatically use this tool to execute the query in the DB and get the result and show you. One more example of Agentic AI, where it will automatically write a query. But see, now the normal model, normal LLM is only able to write a query. But if you want to execute that query in the database, you need a tool. Maybe we need a SQL library, right? And that is a tool. So LLM will automatically call this tool. It will execute the the query in the database and give it to you. Example, okay, how you can use LLMs to query the database, okay. Also, agent will have memory. One more thing, that also can be integrated with the database. That is different. Again. Memory is nothing but what conversation happens till now. Whatever conversation happened till now, that is memory. Again, one more memory means that is not that thing, but just to remember. Now, for example, you'll ask what a follow-up question. Now, for example, you ask a question, how many users we have? Okay, it will answer. It will say 12. Now you'll ask follow-up question. You'll not ask same question again. You'll ask follow-up question like, out of these users, tell me who has more, who has generated more revenue. So now it has already know the previous users, right? It has already have the previous memory. So it will again, because it already have the memory, it will again write one more follow-up query. It will optimize the existing query because it also already have the memory, and it will give it. So that memory is different and normal database is different. Ultimately, we can also have, obviously, agent should also have memory to remember the previous conversations and everything. Yeah, like how do we have memory? Now, for example, we are able to do the conversations because we have memory, right? In the same way, agent also will be having memory. So like agent is like human, you can assume, just a human, which has resources, which has memory to do the task. Yeah. Any questions? Anyone? You were asking some questions. Sorry. Okay, cool. So now, so in this way, this agentic AI works. So you can see this one more example where LLM will have the access to the database. This vector database is to get some related content. Again, I'll not go deep dive into vector database because once we go deeper, I'll talk about RAG and then we'll do action feedback loop. You can also attach a feedback loop and you can say, okay, like whether it is doing a right job or not. It can do, LLM can do. That is what React agent is and this one. So this is what the agentic AI is all about. It will automatically do all this stuff. It has the access for LLMs, memories, objective, task, tools. You can see all different types of tools um, uh, and the stuff. Okay. Now, for example, LLM, you want LLM to post message on top of on behalf of you in WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a tool, right? LLM can generate the content, and WhatsApp is a tool to send a message on behalf of you. Like that, how agents work. Okay. So, any questions before proceeding? I hope you already understood the difference between agentic AI and generative AI, right? Look at this picture, guys. You'll clearly understand what is the difference between generative AI and agentic AI, right? So primary purpose of agentic AI is to do the task and completion, but generative AI is to just generate the content. They are goal oriented. Agents are goal oriented, and agentic AI is less prompt dependency. Okay, and it can perform the actions. Tools, it will use tools. It will need the short term and long term memories also. It will be having a feedback loop and retry logic, like it can try back if at all if there is an issue or something. It is an highly autonomic systems, agentic AI. It can also evaluate itself by the success and failure. Examples are like self-driving cars and web scraping bots or something like that. Okay. So that is the main difference between the agentic AI systems and the generative AI systems. Okay. One more example of agentic AI. So now that you got an idea of what is agentic AI, I'll show a small demo of how agentic AI works, a small demo which I was talking about. But before that, if you have any questions, you can ask me, or if you're clear, we can go for demo and I can show you the demo of how exactly agentic AI systems work with a small use case. Yeah. If you have any questions, yes, we can shoot right. Not only for agentic AI, Chandrakant, it is also a major concern for LLMs because whatever data is sending to LLMs now, that might go outside. Especially if you're using a closed source models, it is a main concern. So for that only guardrails and everything is implemented. Yeah. Especially autonomous. Correct. That is the reason whenever you are sending any input to the LLM, we'll always have a guardrail, which will always sanitize the input before sending to LLMs or before sending to any systems. Yeah, because in autonomous system there is a chances that, yeah, you are right. In autonomous systems there is chances that some kind of confidential data might be also sent to LLMs. That should be guardrailed. Yeah, you are right. Especially in autonomous system, that is more concerned. Correct. Any other questions? Okay. Now, guys, I guess if you've already done the data analysis course, imagine you already done the data analysis or pandas and numpy, you have used pandas and numpy. What you have done, maybe you could have taken data and that did some data pre-processing for you, data pre-processing, did some visualizations, and also you have done some kind of graphs and charts and all those things, right? But what if AI agent can do for you the same stuff? Yes, and that is what you're seeing right now. So this is the data analysis agent. Okay. And here I'll just show the code also. Don't worry by looking at this code. This code is slightly huge, but in real time we can make it more simpler because this was used for some other case. That is the reason we have a lot of things in this code, but don't get scared by looking at this code. It's a very simple one. So, but if you see, there are multiple agents built in this part. Okay. One is the data cleaner agent, which is responsible for cleaning the data. Okay, so these are all tools given to that, like the remove duplicate tool or handle missing value tool or something like different tools given to the AI, the LLM, to do this stuff. Detect outlier tool, the regular code which we use. And then what happens is the LLM will automatically call these tools based on the data. Okay. Then you're having a document processor agent, which will read whatever files you want. A planner agent. First, you'll be having in this case, in this data analysis agent, first you'll be having a planning agent. What this planning agent will do is it will create a plan given a data. For example, here you can upload any kind of file you want, a CSV file or Excel file or PDF file. Based on the data file you uploaded, it will go to the planner agent. Okay. What this planning agent will do is it will try to take your file, it will take your content of your file and accordingly plan what what analysis I should do into this. And again, here we're having the instruction. You can see somewhere in the bottom we're having the instructions. Let me show you. So you can see this is the instruction. Okay. So you can see this is actually the old code. So but this LLMs are actually changed a lot. So whatever you're seeing, this much also is not required actually. Whatever code you're seeing, this much also not required right now. It is more advanced. But I just want to show the demo actually. Okay. So you can see what it says. So answer the following question as best you can. You can have the access of the following tools. Okay. Just give the tools access and use the following format question. The input question you must answer. You should always think about what to do. Action, the action you want to take, tool names, and the action input. Okay. So this is the React method. Okay. Thought and action is a React method. This is a prompt template. And what it does is it will do all this stuff. Like it will clean the data. It will use the tools to clean the data, handle missing values and all those things. And it will plan actually. It will plan like what all things I should do or what all things I should do, what all things it has to do. It will use these tools to identify relations between the variables and everything. Okay. That is the idea. Okay. And you're having visualizer tool. Visualizer tool will be helping us to visualize the plots and everything. So you will give some tools, visualizer agent, basically. It will give the matplotlib tool or plotly tool to plot the graph. Okay. So let me show the output first. Okay. So you'll click on browse file and choose one random, take any random data. Okay. Random CSV or PDF. See just what happens, what it does. Okay. It will take the data, it will automatically process. You can see this entire thing is automated right now. Okay. Now you can see this summary, it will automatically generate for you. Whatever data you upload, it will generate the summary. This plan, whatever you are seeing right now, this plan was automatically generated by AI. what analysis plan, like priority is handling missing value, priority is I. Visualization, create histogram, visualization. So now the question is how it knows handling missing value is needed, because it has seen the data and say that, okay, the data is having missing value, so we have to handle it. Okay, then it will create a box plot, everything visualize. This is a plan. This is a plan. Like it does all the plan. This entire plan was done by AI, guys. I'm not doing it. It has looked into the data. It looked into the code. It looked into the tools. Using the tools, it is generating a summary also. You can see this JSON was generated by AI. No, nothing. I've done nothing here. Just gave the data. That's it. And wrote some tools. That I've built an agent system, agentic AI system. That's it. It is doing all those things. It is just identifying all the column types. It is identifying the relationships. You can see it is identified the relationships because of the tool. Because you can see there is one tool called as relationship tool. You can see, not this. Somewhere here you'll be having this tool. So that is the planner tool. Yeah, you can see analyze columns tool. So these all are generalized codes, generalized tools, which can be used for any data. That is a plan. That is the important point. Right? Suggest visualization tools. It can use this. What kind of suggestions? Relationships. You can see relationships. Like that, it will send the columns and automatically find out what are the relationships. Correlation. You can see all these tools it will use. Suggested targets. You know what are the things and everything. Validating suggestions. You know these are the things it can do. Okay. So first it is planning. Okay, what analysis it should do. What things it has to do. Okay, it will plan analysis, and then using the visualization tools, you can see it has automatically generated all the visualizations. Right. I didn't write a single line of code here. I only built the AI system. Of course, for building the AI system, I wrote the code, but not for the analyzing the data. Whatever data I just uploaded, it is automatically generating these plots from using the tools. The tool is Plotly. Okay, Matplotlib tool. Matplotlib is a tool to generate these plots. So it has the LLM is deciding what plot it will be generated. You can see within no time it has generated how many plots, right? Within no time, how many plots it has automatically generated. Okay, so it is visualizing, it is showing some analysis, it is showing the data overview. All these things it is automatically generating by itself. Okay, and just displaying in the Streamlit UI. Now the interesting part is these are okay, they are basic. But if you the last one, that is the interesting part. You're also having the chat. In this chat, you know what happens? I'll show you an interesting thing. For example, you'll ask a question. How many users, we have? You know what it does? It will first, now how the chat is designed is, I'll show the chat. This is a chat agent. And what it does is, it will actually generate the code. First, this chat will, based on the question, it will generate the pandas code, and it has the access of the pandas tools. Okay. If you just scroll up, I'll just show you. It is having the access of the, you can see, generate pandas code. So it will use the pandas tool to execute the pandas code, what it has generated, and answer this question. For example, I'll tell you, for example, if I ask how many users do you have, the chat agent, then what it does is, it will convert your question into a pandas code. Okay. And then it will answer. You can see we have total 161 users. But the question is, how it is able to tell we're having total 161 users? Because first, that is the reason. Actually, this was the answer user required. But whatever I'm showing in the bottom is what we require, like how it has done in the backend. What it has done is, first it has wrote this code: print df of user id dot unique. Okay, how it is doing? Because it is this agent is this LLM is doing. Then it is using the pandas tool to run this code and get the answer. And that is how it says we have total 167 users. This is what agentic AI is. Based on the question. Now, if you just ask it to do this, it will just generate the code. That's it. But the tool is able to run the code, give the output back to the LLM, and LLM is able to answer. That is what agentic AI is. Okay. Now, For example, last, okay, who bought, okay, which user? So it's like a pandas agent, you can ask. Pandas with chat agent, okay? So I'll just ask, which user has more number of products, has purchased products, for example. Okay. If I ask this question, see now what happens. Again, it will generate the code. Okay. It will generate a pandas code for us. And it will, you can see df of user ID dot value counts ID max. So you can see because so this user ID means the user with user ID so and so has purchased highest number of products compared with all the other user in the data set. How it is able to answer in the backend, what it is doing, it is generating the code and running the code also using the pandas tool. It has run the code and is able to generate. It was able to give. Okay. So this is what the agentic AI. See, if you just go and do this in normal LLM model, it will just generate the code, but it cannot execute the code. For executing the code, you're giving the tool. And the output of the tool is nothing but what you're seeing here. That is the reason now it's able to answer the question. Okay, it is converting your question into a code, and that code is used to call the tool, and that tool output it is using to answer the question. How cool is that, right? That is what agentic AI is all about. Right? You can ask any question again. For example, what is the data about? For example, I'll ask this question. Let's see what code it has generated. Okay, it will analyze my question. Let's see. Yeah, you can see the data provides information about customer purchases, so. But let's see what the code it is. We see if you give this to ChatGPT, ChatGPT also answer. But what code it has generated? Yeah, see, automatically it sees what, because it has a brain. First, it sees the head. Okay, this is automatically generated by the AI. It sees the head. It sees the list of this one. Then based on that, it will answer the question that it has this information. So this is what agentic AI is all about. Got it? Got it, everyone? Yeah, Chandrakant. Yes. Whatever you said is correct. That is what the entire, the AI is actually capturing, to be honest. Okay. So this is an example of what kind of systems you can build. This code and all I'll explain later, because when we're working with agentic AI systems, I'll explain a more smaller, more simpler way, because you can build more simpler codes and build advanced systems. So we'll talk about that. But I just want to show the demo of how exactly the agentic AI works. Now, in the same thing, if you just go to ChatGPT here, if you, I guess it is still generating. Wait, I'll refresh once. Sometimes it will take some time because of a lot of yeah, you can see I got a image. Fine. But I want to show you one thing. See, now we know that the cutoff date for a ChatGPT is 2024, correct? But now I just want to show you one thing. I'll just ask, who is the president of United States? Now, because see, we know that it is actually having only cutoff date of 2012. But if you see, the ChatGPT is having the tools access. You can see, think for longer, run deep research, create an image is a tool, search the web. This is what I was talking about, is a tool. Now, what happens is when you ask a question, because this is like the new question, because this election happened after 2024. So now, if I ask this question, see what it will do. Can you see what it is doing? It is searching the web. It is searching the web. It is not answering directly. It is searching the web. That is a tool access. Now, if you don't give this searching the web tool access, it would say the previous president, that is Biden. But now it is saying Donald, because Donald J. Trump, because it is saying Trump, because it is searching the web. That web search access you give, that is a tool, right? So that's how this is ChatGPT itself is one of the agent, ChatGPT is the first agentic AI system, more clearly, to be more specific, because it is a way, it has a brain, it has the tools access, and it can use the tools to do the job. Okay. ChatGPT is also an agentic AI system, I can say, because it is having the memory, it is having the brain, and it is having tools access, and it is performing a task for you. What type of task? Answering your question. Answering your question is also a task with tools access. Correct. So make sense, guys? Understood, everyone? What is agentic AI and a small demo of how this agentic AI system works? Yes. Any questions? So slowly you'll understand, guys. Like with minimal code also you can do. Don't worry about whatever code you have seen till now. This was a very old one actually, but the latest code are more simpler. Don't worry. So you will with minimal code you'll be seeing how agentic AI can do wonders. Okay. So now over to you. So this is what I just want to show you. I hope you got an idea of how these things work and what is the entire agentic AI system is all about. Now over to you. If you have any questions, you can ask me related to curriculum or related to, related to anything related to agentic AI. You can ask me. That's a very good question, Ravikiran. That is also one of the important concern a lot of people are having. Like, can we rely completely 100% on AI systems or AI agents? Because there are chances that AI can make systems, can make mistakes. So for this, yes, there is a concern even in our company also. Sometimes what happens is there might be. I mean, we observed that AI was not performing as expected some cases. That is the reason there is a concept of human in loop. Okay, so somewhere here we'll discuss that point also. I guess I've included here this. Just a second, let me show you. Let me see if that human in loop was included. But if it is not, I guess I forgot. But yeah, yes, human. Okay, fine. But there is a concept called as human in loop, which you'll be learning. It is not somehow here, but yeah, you'll be learning about concept of human in loop. So yeah, in wherever, especially whenever there is a sensitive kind of systems, like for example, what kind of sensitive systems means, imagine you have used AI to write or modify your code. Okay, write your code. But the thing is, AI has generated the code. Now you can make the same AI to update the code in GitHub, right? Yeah, because I'm working on the similar system. I'm giving this example. Okay, I'm working on one agentic AI system where what it does is, if there is any error in the code by any chance, I mean, I'm working on one agentic AI system. What happens is it will look into the logs. Okay, it will continuously look into the logs, look into the errors. Okay, whenever the code runs or whenever there is a issue in the data platform, cloud platform. Okay, and what is the plan is, whenever there is an issue, the agent should generate the like the fixes. Okay, it can be the issue in the code, or it can be issue in a, maybe sometimes what happens is, I'll tell you one example. Okay, imagine I'm having a server. Okay, there is an error that the server might the memory of the server might reach to 95%, or the memory of server is done. I mean, the memory of server is over, is completed. Okay, the utilization of the disk is high. Then maybe I should do some kind of fix for that. Maybe the agent should automatically. So I'm building an agentic system where it should automatically increase the memory, or remove some content, some unwanted content from the server. But for doing this, it is very risky, because sometimes it can drastically increase the memory, which leads to huge budget issue, or it can also drastically, or it can remove some important content from the server, and it can create this. So for this, we are having human in loop, where before AI doing any action, it can tell what action it is doing first, and if only a human approves, someone who approve, then it can do the action. Okay, that is called as human in loop. So in many of the systems, what people are doing is they're building the human in loop systems. What happens is, before AI doing any action, any kind of sensitive actions, the humans can approve the action. Whether, in many of the AI systems which we are building in our company also, we are doing the same thing. If at all there is a sensitive actions, for example, imagine it has to modify a code. Okay. Now we are not making AI to directly modify the code. There should be a human in loop. And if an authorized user approves that, maybe through a chat system or through an email or through a Slack channel, somewhere through random through some option, if human approves it, then the AI will go and do that action. Okay, or AI will not do that. So this kind of human in loop systems we have in this agentic AI systems. Yeah. So I'll also show you how to build a human in loop systems, because without that it is difficult in many cases. A lot of cases it will be a problem, because AI is still evolving, right? It is not too perfect. So yeah. So we should have always a feedback system or a human in loop system especially for sensitive cases. For non-sensitive cases, no problem. For example, this data analysis now. This data analysis doesn't need any human in loop, right? It will just analyze the data and give it to you. If there is an issue, you will just modify it. But for any sensitive changes it has to do, or if it has to do some careful actions, for example, it has to book a ticket. Okay. For example, if you have directly automated it without human in loop, sometimes it might book a wrong ticket, and because of that, your money is lost, right? Because you might not get a refund also. So before booking a ticket, it will ask you, this is the ticket I'm booking, this is the vendor, and this is the ticket seat number. Are you okay? If you say yes, I'm okay, you can proceed. Then only it will start booking. So it's like a human in loop. Okay. So these kind of things we have to do, or else for sensitive cases it will be difficult. Okay. Make sense? I hope the question is answered. Yeah. In many cases, people are doing. For example, this in my company, there is one bot developed by colleague. That's also one of the case. Yeah. So one of my colleague is developing a bot which basically runs the queries, automatically runs the queries based on the user question. Okay, like the SQL bot which I was talking about in a Slack channel. Means we have a lot of data. Okay, users data. So if an authorized person want to know what something about data, they can come to a authorized channel and they can ask questions. But what we are doing here is, before running any query, because it's what the bot does is, based on user question, it will generate an SQL query. Now, the thing is, before the AI agent running the query, there should be an approval option. There will be an approval option. Okay. It will just generate the query and show to you first. And if you only approve it, it will run the query, or else it will not run the query, because even the database operations is very costly. Especially we are using BigQuery, and it is very costly for each query. If at all the AI is not rating the query optimized query by any chance, if it has included select star instead of selecting columns, selecting star is very huge. I mean, it's very costly. So that is where the human in loop can help us, and he can just no. So that is a point here. The main important point here is, the most of the jobs will be in human in loop also now, because now lot of people will think that, okay, because of AI jobs will lost, but yeah, there will be a job shift, not job loss. Like a lot of people might shift their jobs, like now instead of you doing it, AI will do it, but you should always guide the AI. We should be a person. Now in our company also, we have data analysts, data engineers. They are guiding the AI, so you are the person who should be guiding the AI. Okay. Okay. So any other questions? And without domain knowledge, it's difficult to guide the AI. Okay. So always domain experts will be helping and guiding the AI. Okay. So you are the persons who will develop the AI, and domain experts will guide the AI. That's how this will change in future. I don't know. Again, it depends upon the how AI will be evolving. But at least up to now, the situation is something like that. The domain experts are guiding the AI, and the AI engineers are building the AI systems. Any other questions? Questions, doubts?
So to integrate the tools, etc., to LLMs, we are using some protocols or something, right?
So we have something called as MCP. So we'll be also learning about that.
Yeah, I
So
don't see that. That's why I'm asking. Yeah.
yeah. So we have that MCP protocol. Basically, that is also one protocol. Basically, HTTP is one most common protocol used in earlier case. But now because of the MCP getting more, I mean MCP internally also has REST only, but I mean API HTTP itself. But the thing is, it is like a centralized uh, protocol, standard protocol for tools access. So we'll be also learning that, yeah,
Oh, okay.
how to use MCP, how to create MCP servers and use it for our for agentic for tools.
Right. Yeah. Nowadays, yeah, many are using that.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks.
MCP is also there. So that comes under tools only, like where, in which tools, what tools. That concept comes under tools itself.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Any other questions? Okay, so I hope you're clear. So then let's continue the next session then. So I guess for today we can close. So if you have any questions, you can stay and ask, or if you're clear, you can close for today. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone. Uh, Tomorrow is not the next class. Next class is from next week.
So from next week onwards is the regular classes, or?
Correct. From next week onwards, it is like every Saturday and Sunday you'll be having this sessions.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is not shared. I'll be sharing later.
Abhishek, I have a small doubt actually.
Please.
So initially we started with the data pre-processing, machine learning, models building, like
Correct.
CNN, RNN, everything.
Correct.
And now it went to ANN, whatever thing. After that, generative AI came, and now agentic AI. Every week the technology is getting upgraded, right? So
Yes.
it's like, I mean, every week it's like learning new thing.
Correct.
So LLM gone, now some other thing is coming, which
Correct.
plugins, so many things.
Correct.
So there won't
So,
be any end for this.
yeah, you're right. There will be no end. According to whatever I see in the market right now, I guess there is no end until, AI take over humans. So, yeah. So I don't know. I mean that is what I also feel. There is no end. So that is what this field also is. Previously, when you want to become a software engineer, at least you have to upgrade for every 6 months, 3 to 6 months. But now, because of this AI stuff, you have to upgrade for every 1 week. Sometimes every 3 to 4 days also, you will be getting a new things upcoming, new things coming up, or sometimes every week, or sometimes 2 weeks once. So yeah, in this era, you have to always upgrade yourself, and the best option is LinkedIn, guys. So you have to always uh, follow the follow people who are posting regularly, and just go scroll through LinkedIn instead of Instagram. Okay, just you'll scroll through Instagram now for just seeing some content or see reels. Along with that, along with that, you can just scroll in LinkedIn. So there you will see a lot of new content coming up, what people are doing, research, what people are doing, because that is the best place where everything is segregated and everything is actually, combined, and you can see that. Yeah. But yeah, that's the exact point, Chandrakant. You have to always, I mean, in this era, you have to always update yourself. Yes. Even me, like I also have to learn a lot still, in this concept. So like there are a lot of new things came up, so I should update myself accordingly. I should use it. Yeah, that's how these things are going on.
Yeah, I mean, we are learning a lot from you because you are transferring your knowledge for us, very valuable information and all. Every week you're learning new things and you're sharing that across the people, and that's really amazing job you are doing.
Basically, I'm using this in my work.